Today is the perfect day to do nothing. And I cannot do that. So, if checking out some new ideas fails, success, possible success. If you want to come down that rabbit hole with me, grab your project, grab your drink, and hang out with me for a few minutes. Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I'm glad you're here. And that felt awkward. But I'm going to leave it in because that's how I roll. Whether you are new here or you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for the time that you spend with me out of your day. I do know we all have very busy lives, whether we work outside the home, in the home, or we're retired. I know. There's no we in the retirement part. But I do know we're all busy in one form, shape, or another. So, even if it's busy watching YouTube channels. Right? Okay. So, welcome to my world of craziness today. Because, I will be honest with you, I have nothing completed to show you. I have some whip stuff, yes, but I also have been playing with an idea for well over a year now, and Macy's tote bag was the first step of that idea. I originally bought some interfacing and to make me a purse or just a small little, bag. To me, I say purse. It's not leather, it's going to be cloth, but I wasn't confident that I could succeed at this. So I shelved that idea, bought some different interfacing, and decided, let me try a tote bag, because that's basically a very big purse, right? Well, hence that very first bag. And Macy fell in love with it, so Macy got the very first tote. Fast forward to now. I've made lots of totes, but I have not used that original interfacing that I used with Macy's bag, because after my concussion and the loss of the use of the left side of my body, I couldn't use it. I couldn't put it through the machine. So then I used a little thinner of a interfacing that I like a heck of a lot better for totes. I liked Macy's tote bag with that interfacing because, for one, it was a tote, but it was also going to be doubling as her diaper bag. So that was perfect. She needed that sturdiness. So would I if I made a purse. And I'm kind of mid going with it. What you're looking at is the inside. And I'll give you a peek at what's going to be on the outside. I made myself a pocket. I don't know. When I originally started doing this the other day, when I decided, okay, I'm going to delve back into this thicker interfacing. I'm going to see if I can use it. As you can see, it is still clipped together. I have not braved this interfacing on my machine again yet. And I'm kind of nervous about it. But we'll see. You won't see in today's video, unfortunately, because I had to take a break. It's only 10 o'clock. But I've been up since 4. Since 6. So I've already been up 4 hours. And I've had too much caffeine. Hence, this little puppy. I've had 3 of these, which is too many in that short of a time. But I just couldn't wake up. And part of it is because of the popcorn. Well, not technically popcorn. Y'all know what I mean. It's the rain. And I thought that by drinking the caffeine, I could get my brain fired up, I did. I switched to decaf, sparkling ice. I did, but I ran into a few hiccups. So I decided to set this down, and rather than going shopping, which my daughter-in-law and I were going to do, and possibly picking up some little treats or something to show y'all, I said, no, I'm going to go ahead and film tomorrow's video, which will be Friday. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all part of my struggle bus process. Because we're all about being real around here. And yes, I do show y'all some cute makes, whether it's knit, crochet, or sewn. But very rarely, I mean, I know I talk about it, but very rarely do I show you how bad I struggle sometimes. And I don't mind showing you the struggles because so many of you tell me that I am an inspiration in different aspects of what I put on my channel. Whether it's the knitting, the crocheting, the struggling with the physical limitations that I had. Granted, they were temporary, mostly. I'm going to tell you all about something in a minute that, well, no, I can tell you now. I will show you this stuff. But if you're new, this is not my normal content. Yes, normally I'm all over the board of those three things. But there's no yarn. There's no, well, yeah, there is some yarn, but it's a whip. And that will come later. But, you know, I talk, this is going to be more of a talking video. And if that's not your thing, I get it. You know, I do. I really do. But anyway. When I don't mind inspiring. I love inspiring people, whether it's with ideas, whether it's colors, whether it's, you know, just sheer determined bulldogness. Thank you. I'm glad that I do that for you. But I also want to say, hey, sometimes it's harder than others. Now, I will explain my shirt, and then I'll get back to this. It says, I rescue yarn trapped in yarn stores. I'm not a hoarder, I'm a hero. Let me see if I can get all that in. And all this beautiful little glory. Now, my son bought me this shirt and another similar kind of shirt 3-4 Christmases ago as a gag gift. He said he bought them for me as a gag. This is my younger twin. He said, Mom, they're just a gag gift. You don't have to wear them in public. I said, dude, I will totally wear this in public. Okay? This. Now, granted, the first one, this one is a navy blue. The black-based one, me and my daughter-in-law was working down, I don't know if it was in my greenhouse or down there in her garden beds, but a piece of the fencing got caught on it, and it ripped a hole about that long. Yes, I can repair it. Yes, I have thought about repairing it. But it's right there mid-belly, and it's too far below the print and too far above the hem. Yes, I could cut it off and hem it, and it'll just be a little bit shorter of a shirt. I just thought about that, but yeah. Oh, if y'all heard that, I'm so sorry. That was a big burp. Anyway, it's cute. But anyway, when me and Meredith had been talking about, you know, rescuing yarn and adopting yarn and stuff like that, that made me think of this t-shirt. Then it flew completely out of my head. You know, y'all know my memory right now. And my bangs are getting on my nerves again. But it just, when the other day I was looking through my closet, because there's a couple different shirts that I wear when I am trying to put that red dye on my hair. Y'all notice it doesn't stay long, okay? I think it's been 2 weeks maybe, and it's already trying to bleach back out to the blonde. I mean, yes, it has some red tones to it, but so anyway, I came across this shirt and I was like, I gotta show Meredith that. So Meredith, this is our yarn adopting shirt, right? Oh man. Okay, back to regular scheduled program. And if this hair does not stay out of my eyeball, you know, I need to just grow my bangs out. I have never in my life gone without bangs, but I'm so tempted right now. I am so tempted. But y'all, I have my mama's big forehead. Yeah, I've seen it before. You know, I used to wear my hair up, and sometimes I have since then. But when I was working at Joann, yeah. Oh, remind me. No, I gotta remind myself because you're not here. Hold on. Ooh, do not burn yourself on that candle. Today was definitely a candle kind of day, so I have it lit because I was over here working on this, on Bella. And where did my notepad go? Alright. I have this little thing that my nylon strap, webbing strap came on, so let me put that and I will remember. Okay, so anyway, this morning I start doing everything. Yesterday I cut all the fabric. I cut the fabric for this bag, and here is where I'm going to tell you, Caitlin, if you are watching this video, click off until Monday. I know that's going to kill you. Just do it, unless you want to ruin your Mother's Day surprise. Okay? Alright. So, now, I was doing this bag as a prototype because yes, this is the bag that I wanted to make, the purse that I wanted to make. But my daughter-in-law expressed an interest in wanting a bag made out of some of the cloth that me and her picked out for something for us back at that warehouse sale back in August, right? No. Was it August? No, it was not August. It was February this year. My brain, y'all. My brain. So, I will show you that in a second. But I got her fabric cut and my fabric cut. So, I said, I'm going to try, my bag is going to be the guinea pig, so to speak. And I made the same mistake that I'd learned from making those original tote bags, that I need to sew my, alright, so I need to sew the top of this fabric to my liner fabric before I iron them to my interfacing. Why, do you ask? Because right now I am left with a raw edge, that raw edge right there on top, that I'm going to have to use binding on. I don't like doing binding on this interfacing or this foam stabilizer. It's very uneven. I can't be as precise and beautiful as I want it to be. So, and I swore when I pinned my pocket it was even, but y'all see? Let me see. To me, it looks like this side is a little bit lower. And I'm so conscientious about lining things up that I swore it was. In the grand scheme of things, even if I were to were selling this particular bag, it would still be okay, because it's going to be on the inside of a bag. But, oh, poo. You're on my phone. I made this because in any bag that I have right now, I always lose my phone. I have very minimal things. I have like 5 or 6 things in a bag at a time. But my phone always hides behind my wallet. Whether it's in front of it, behind it, underneath it, it hides. So I was like, this bag, I will have a designated pocket for my phone. And my phone fits perfectly in there, you know, and it's just as pretty as you please. So when that's going on, you're not going to notice anything up with how far it is from this top edge to that top edge. The biggest problem with what I'm facing right now is putting the binding on. And it's not a problem, it's an irritation. And I will probably use... I have some pre-done binding that I bought when we were going out of business, but I don't know that I'm going to use that. So, this is why I'm glad I did a prototype type thing with my stuff, because I'm going to do her bag in this fabric. Remember I told y'all that this wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea? This is totally a me and my daughter-in-law cup of tea. I do have enough. I think I bought 2 or 3 yards of this. I might have bought 3 yards. So I do have enough if y'all want a bag made in it. Not these bags. I don't know that I will ever sell these bags because they are so labor intensive that it's unreal. So, and plus, I decided to go with straps that go similar to my totes. I don't know what straps she wants yet. Hence, well, actually, I don't know that I can do any more of her bag, except cutting it. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do for her for Mother's Day then. I will figure something out. But anyway, I will sew the top of this to the top of that. And then fold it over the... And I made her a little pocket too. See, with my pocket, it had the Georgia Bulldog and then the white. Well, hers has this color, which will be her lining. Because I did ask her. Black would match perfectly, and that suits her aesthetic. But if any of y'all, all of you probably know, a dark bag makes it really impossible to find your stuff in. So I told her to pick out, I had 2 different color teal that would match this, both parts of the stag. Okay, that you can see on that. And she said, I love both of them. I'm good with both of them. Pick one. I don't know if she said love, but she said pick one. I said, okay. I picked this one because I think it will be a lot better. It's not as stiff and thick as the other. And you don't really need thick and stiff when you're using this foam interfacing. So, this will be her bag. We still have to decide, she still has to decide what kind of handle she wants. And I told her, think about it, figure it out, and we'll probably have to get you one off of Amazon. Now, this is all us just chit-chatting, you know. And, I mean, she's like, oh, well, now I know what my Mother's Day's present is going to be. And I'm like, no, that wasn't my intentions, but I could do that if you want. Because I did. I asked her what did she want for Mother's Day. And since my mother's gone, I don't have anybody to do anything for Mother's Day. My husband's mother's been gone way before my mother. So I can celebrate the next generation of mothers. Which my niece is pregnant again with her little boy. And I do think, you know how my great-nephew that is being born to my nephew that I'm doing the quilt for, I think I might do a quilt with Georgia Bulldogs for my niece's baby boy. He is not due till August. Well, technically, originally he was due in August. I think they've changed her date maybe to the end of July. I don't know. But we lost my mom August 15th. And of 2011. And August is not a good month for me. So when my niece got pregnant and they gave her a due date of August, she immediately sent me a message and said, I may have something that will brighten up our August. And I said, what is that? And, you know, she told me she was pregnant and whatnot. But anyway, so I still haven't finished the first quilt, okay? And I'm sitting here thinking about a second quilt. Wrapping all that back around to the original thing is since she is a new mom, or she will be a second time mom, sorry, 2 boys, I totally could give her this bag for Mother's Day. The only problem with that, I would probably make it a full-size tote. Because she has one that just turned 5 in January. Actually, it was the same date. He shares a birthday with my sons. He just turned 5 in January. But she's got this new baby coming, so I could make it a tote for her. I don't know. We'll see. Again, if it's for a diaper bag / tote, I would probably still use this. So, I don't know. This would be rather small for her to use. Maybe before the baby comes. Is that you, Maya? I think she just smacked the door. But anyway. It's an idea, right? Okay. But this bag right here, and the only reason, this is a little smaller than my medium-sized tote bag. I mean, my medium-sized drawstring bag. Because I was asking my daughter-in-law how big of a bag would she want. And she's like, well, one of those. Like, she was pointing to the pink and purple celestial thing. I was like, that's a large now. I said, are you sure you don't want anything smaller? She's like, yeah, maybe a little smaller. So I showed her the medium-sized drawstring bag. And she's like, yeah, yeah. So I cut it out of the foam interfacing. I cut out for her bag. And then I ended up with a 9 by 13 piece of foam on each piece. So I was like, you know what? I could use the leftover foam to make me a bag. Right? Right. That's how this smaller bag came about. Which is fine for me, but I don't think it would suit my niece. Even if she were to only use it for between May and August, or May and July, whenever the baby gets here. So, yeah. She is like me and my grandmother, though. Or she's like me used to be 5 years ago. And my grandmother. I always carried big purses. Always. Now I'm getting a little smaller because, like I said, I only carry like 5 or 6 things in my purse now. Even though my sons were near grown, I still had a lot of stuff that they usually asked me for when we were out and about or whatever. You know, they'd be like, Mom, do you have any Tylenol or Motrin? Or very rarely for that, but it was, do you have any nail clippers? Or do you have any tweezers? Do you have a Band-Aid? You know, because I kept some Band-Aid, Neosporins. I had boys, you know. Just little things like that I kept in my purse, but it was more emergency use, not diaper bag type. You know what I mean. So I always had a big purse. And then once they grew up, went off to college, I'm like, I really don't need a big purse, but I still carried one. And I noticed over the years, it just kept getting full of junk, full of junk, full of junk. So I was like, last year, a couple years ago, I had a very small little purse with the wooden handle, and I'll have to show y'all that one day. It has it's black with little fishies on it, embroidered fish. And that was almost perfect. It was a little smaller than I could comfortably get my wallet in and out of. And now that I make those spring fling mini bags, well, originally it was the spring fling bag. And I noticed that it was a little too big. So I made a spring fling mini that I fell in love with, and I am using 2 right now. I'm using my summer one right now, and I used the red and black Georgia Bulldog one over the winter. So I thought, okay, this will be about the perfect size bag. This has a 2-inch boxing on it, so it'll be about 4-inch wide. And I thought, how perfect? That would be perfect. So that will probably be my bag. Now, I really don't want to do binding, y'all. I love to do binding. I've done binding on regular batting because I did make my daughter-in-law the table runner with the Insel Bright heat deflector so she could put dishes on it. And I did binding on that, and I loved doing it on that and the batting with the 2 pieces of cotton fabric on the outsides. But doing binding on this with it being so squishy and malleable, it doesn't help me line it up perfect. So I don't know what to do. What I may do is go in on the inside and do my binding that way. Fold it over. And that way, when I sew the binding on the outside, I have complete control. I don't know. Putting binding and keeping it straight is hard on this. And that's why I said I would never do that again. But I did for, I think, Laura's bags, I did hand stitching. So if I have to do that, I will. It's not that big of a piece. So I could do the inside stitching on the machine and then fold it over. Actually, I'll do the opposite. I will do the outside stitching, fold it over, do the hand stitching on the inside. I think I'm going to do that. I think that's what I'm going to do. What do y'all vote? Okay. Now, that's all the dilemma for that. Yesterday. Let me tell you something. And Hannah knows this because she texted me. She sent me an Instagram message trying to help me with that front lifted cable increase. That's what it's FLCI. And the pattern designer called it a front lifted cable increase. And then BLCI is a back lifted cable increase. So it's like a lifted increase with a twist or something. I don't know. Hannah has been helping me. She sent me a link to Pearl Soho, which is a lifted increase using the right leg and the left leg, depending on which way you want the increase to lean. And I may try that, because I don't like the way it's looking on. If Hannah can't help me decipher what this designer wanted to do, I apologize. I'm going to go with the Pearl Soho that Hannah sent me. But anyway, she sent me an Instagram, so I texted her because, you know, she came up to South Carolina and we visited while she was here. So we exchanged phone numbers. And I told her, I was like, I hope you don't mind. And she's like, girl, I never mind. You can always reach out to me and text. So she texted me back with trying to help me out. And I saw that I had a message. I saw I had a text message. But I never opened it because me and my daughter-in-law, let me tell y'all, we went on some adventures yesterday. Now that the backhoe has gone back, we are going to focus more on getting everything lined up to do what we want to do. We won't, even if I'm the one responsible for it, or no, not technically, because I know she would come up here in a heartbeat. We want to get the garden beds built and maybe the greenhouse. Those are structurally cheaper than anything house-wise, right? So in order to do that, and plus we will need to start buying wood so much along for the cow pen, or the cow pastures, and their run-ins. So what I'm thinking, it's going to take us probably about another couple days of running, maybe. We might have found a solution, I don't know yet, to source some of this. Now, as I've told y'all before, our garden beds, we don't want to use pressure-treated lumber because of the chemicals that can leach out. Yes, even cedar is treated with chemicals, and cedar's stupid expensive. I have to call one of the places. We did go, okay, let me get my thoughts in order before I completely run rampant. We looked at sawmills near us. So we're looking at local small sawmills instead of big box stores. Because you can get untreated lumber from a big box store. But we have several lumber mills, sawmills around us that are local businesses. And they literally cut their own wood. And it is like a 2x4 is a true 2x4. Like in the store, you get, I think it's like a 1.5 or 1 3/4 by 3.5, 3 3/4. It's not a true, I think it's 1.5 and 3.5. It's not a true 2x4. When you go to a lumber mill, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, it is a true 2-inch by 4-inch piece of wood. So, that's what we've been doing. Yesterday, we spent I want to say 8 hours. Part of that biggest chunk was at one place. It was at the last place that we went. And, well, I was going to look it up, but it doesn't matter. We went a couple days ago to one place. And we talked to the gentleman, and he said, to get more exact pricing, here's the lady I want you to call. She'll give you, she'll have a broader idea. Because originally, we were looking at buying wood for the outbuildings and the fencing and the garden beds and all that. Plus, once we got to that first sawmill, I told my daughter-in-law, I was like, I got another idea. So I asked the guy about wood for our framing our homes, right? And he said there was something about a local inspections or something that they require stamping for pressure treated wood and stuff like that. So he said that the lady would know more about that. So we have to call her, which we'll probably be doing that here shortly, because he wasn't the only one that said call this person and get this. 2 of the places we went yesterday also said the same thing. The people that does the pricing wasn't there. All right, that's fine. We'll call them. That way, we can have it all. Because, y'all, I took a notebook. And then the last place we went actually does not sell to the public. but we might have been gifted a opportunity because they had some tongue and groove boarding that they were wanting to get rid of because it was taking up space in their building. And when I say building, I mean this place. When we drove up, I was like, Kat, this is a huge operation. This isn't really what we're looking for. And if it does turn out to be the blessing that I think it is, it's exactly what we were looking for. Just didn't know what we were looking for. So he has 30 feet high worth of boards, in 2 big stacks that are tongue and groove. And if we don't want all tongue and groove, we don't have to we can, literally just cut it off with a saw. I don't have a table saw. We have a skill saw, a circular saw, and we have a big table saw. Not a table planer saw, but what do they call them? Miter saws, maybe? I can't think. Okay. It's the big one that you take the blade up, you put the board under it. Yeah, that one. Anyway, so we couldn't do it with that saw, but we could take a skill saw and put some clamps on it to where it would go in a straight line and cut the tongue and groove part off. But I don't think we're going to do that for a lot of it, because when we're building our garden beds, that tongue and groove will be a blessing. Well, how we're going to do the garden bed, I didn't touch on it. If you're new, I didn't touch on it in this video, but what we're going to do, like a Japanese way of preserving the wood, like I seen on another podcaster, Colin and Paige. They're Canadians that are building their own home. Right now they're building a tiny home as practice, and then they'll live in that while they build their big home. But to treat it against moisture and bugs and whatnot, they are doing a Japanese way, and they burn it, and then they take a brush and they get all the soot off, So I'm going to do that. Me and my daughter-in-law are going to do that. And that's going to work great. I would not mind doing that for the cow pen. But my son has definite ideas, okay? And as this is going to be a communal project where 3 houses are going to be pitching in work, effort, and money, I feel like everybody should have a voice. I have one son that's pretty kind of, okay, go with the flow. And then I have one that is dead set. The one that is dead set is so much like me. He knows what he wants, and he's willing to give you 10,000 examples, all his examples, of why it would work and why it needs to be this way. He takes my perfectionism to a whole new level. I like things done a certain way. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, yes, I want it done a certain way. And sometimes I have feelings if it's not done that way. But it's not the end all. I am a little more lackadaisical. Lackadaisical. You know what I mean. I'm a little bit more lenient when I'm doing DIY projects, that I focus more on functionality than aesthetics. I probably shouldn't be that way. If y'all saw my greenhouse, you'd probably say, yeah, you don't need to be that way. But that was a 90% free material project. If this works, if we can make a deal with this man, right now he's wanting an atrocious amount. I say atrocious. It's a very good deal. The price he is asking for the wood that he wants to sell us is a very, very good deal. But we just came off of my son renting the backhoe for 2 months. So if we split this cost 3 ways, between my twin sons and my husband, or us. 3 households. You know what I mean. It's not as bad. Wow, it's raining hard. But we'll have to see. It's going to take some convincing. Because y'all know, they had the back coat, I had the tooth. So anyway, today was going to be heading to town, doing a little shopping, because I definitely got to go to Walmart. Me and my daughter-in-law both did a free month trial on Walmart Plus for delivery and stuff. And man, it was nice, but I don't have the extra funds for all that right now. So we just did our trial and be done with it. But now we got to go back to shopping again. So if I want to do anything other than quesadillas for dinner, I'm going to have to go shopping. But in light of this, I think I'm going to do quesadillas for dinner. I'll do shopping tomorrow. So, today might be a stay-at-home day. I think she may come up here so that we can call these other sawmills and get prices on those for their stuff. And that way, yes, that one lump sum is a good bit, but I think it's going to be cheaper than anything else we can find, much less anything from the box stores. So I told her a little while ago, I was like, well, because she asked me, was I working? I was like, yeah, I'm always working. I took a picture, because at that point I had just sewn the straps to my cloth. I had not yet put my liner or my outside fabric on my interfacing yet. And then I did, and I realized my mistake. Okay, hence me doing this video right now. Oh, I did, in all of our running around yesterday, I did get a little bit more knitting, and this is what I have left over from Ball 2. I did get a little bit more knitting on my hand towel. See, this is where I was. And yes, Meredith, I love these little things. I actually have them hanging right now, right there, because I want them handy. Because out of sight, out of mind. My butterflies are over here. Ooh, hi. My butterflies are over there in my cubby, but I did get some knitting done. I still have not caught up on sleep from my niece's graduation. You know how I told y'all that when I filmed my last video on Tuesday, we had her graduation that night. Went off great. I'm proud of her. You know, she got college credit because she was dual enrolled at the technical college. And it was arts and science. She got associates in arts and science. What that's going to do, I don't know. But she did graduate with honors from that. We went out to eat afterwards, and we did not get home till like 11:30, almost 12 o'clock. It was ridiculous. But as much as I love my brother-in-law, everything always happens that way, so it is what it is. So yesterday I was already going into a sleep deficit. This is not helping me today. I am so sleepy, even though I've had those 3 caffeine drinks, which has what? 210 milligrams of caffeine. That's a lot. I don't need any more caffeine for the rest of the day. Sorry. I know I don't need it. And I won't drink it because I don't want to do that to my body, but I after I finish up with y'all, I'm going to tell my daughter-in-law, look, if we're going to make these calls, get up here, because I am running out of gas. I'm so sleepy. I think I'm going to put this one on the back burner for now. I need to find out if she would want, because my idea, alright, say this is the outside of the bag. If she does not want these kind of straps, which she didn't automatically say, yeah, that's what I want, so I'm gathering that she doesn't want that. I need to find out if she wants her straps, like from this part, or if she wants her straps like this. If so, would she want me to do straps that you sew on after the fact? Or would she want me to do some kind of straps that are like these, but they're anchored inside to like the interfacing? If that's the case, I cannot sew the top edge of my liner and my outside fabric together without those purse straps. And that's just the way it is when you go into a absolutely new project. You just have to figure things out. So I have to figure out, I need to pin her down on what kind of straps she wants. I think we're going to have to sit down today after we make those phone calls about the wood and say, let's get this done. Since this is getting louder and harder, I'm going to get off here. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you about this. Alright, I'll be quick. So, my manager from Joanne texted me yesterday. We've kept in touch intermittently since Joanne closed. And she was asking me, when she texted me yesterday, she was asking me about the Aiken Michaels. And, I gave her my opinion of it. And I was like, why? Are you gonna go... Are you coming back to craft work again? Because she's been managing a store, an Ace Hardware store. And I don't know the details, and even if I did, I wouldn't share her details, without her permission. But she's like, someone approached her about taking over and managing the Aiken Michaels. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. I was like, yeah, I definitely miss Joanne's. She's like, yeah, I do too. I said, it would be fitting if you came back to the crafting world, the crafting store world, or something like that. And if she does, I have to wonder, is she going to ask me to work? And I don't even know my answer. Because we have so much going on here. Would I like the work? Probably. Now, they don't have ship to store like Joanne did. Ship from store, I mean. I don't think. Does anybody work for Michaels? If you do you have ship from store? I don't know. But, anyway, a blast from the past kind of reach out type thing. I know it's not that far past, but we're going on a year since we closed our doors. And I do miss it. I do miss going to work. I miss the customers, some of the drama at work I don't miss. And then definitely don't miss shutting our store down. But I enjoyed the work. I really did. And I don't know what Michael's benefits are anymore. I knew them once upon a time, pre-concussion, and I can't tell you what they are right now. So, I think I remember something about fabric not being part of the discount, employee discount, which fine when they had it only cheap fabric, but their fabric is rivaling some of Joann prices now, or higher. Same with their yarn. So hopefully they've changed that structure since they have gone up, since, you know, they don't have Joann's to compete with. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I hope, and see, it's bad when this light is brighter. Now, I don't know how it's showing on camera, but this light is so much brighter on my eyes than this light coming from my window. But we needed the rain. We did. So I'm not going to argue. But it makes me sleepy. So I might be getting me a nap in. I seriously doubt it, y'all, to be totally honest. If I nap during the day, I don't rest well at night. So I may have to keep moving. I did a lot of my cleaning, catching up on my cleaning the other day here in the house. So I might be staying in here and doing some more sewing. Or I might get caught up on some knitting other than that. Actually, I want to finish that hand towel that Tina has claimed. And I do have those other knitting projects that I told y'all I had whips, so I could deal with those. The thing I'm scared about is if I sit down in my recliner, I'm going to doze off. We'll see. Maybe my grandson and my daughter-in-law coming up here will revive me and, you know, perk me up and give me some energy or something naturally. But I'm going to get off here. I hope your weekend is wonderful. I hope you have nothing but sunshine. I was going to say sunshine and rainbows, but you can't have rainbows without rain. May you have the best weekend you can have. How about that? Hopefully you can find some joy in your day. Grab a hold of it. Don't let go. I'm going to, because I have had itty bitty amounts of joy. Like when I succeeded in lining up. I know it's crazy to be excited over something like this, but I lined up that right there perfectly to frame these two straps, to frame that part of the material. Little things of joy. I'm telling y'all, it's not hard to find. The second is sitting here talking to y'all and processing what I need to do next. Because having a clear and defined plan, so to speak, brings me a lot of joy. You wouldn't think that, but the way my brain works, it brings me joy. So I'm going to get off here, and I will see y'all in Friday's. No, this is Friday's video. I will see y'all in Monday's video. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do for Monday's video. I just have to see it if I can pull it off. If not, you will not hear about it. You'll just think Monday's video is Monday's video. But if I do pull it off, I'll be so excited. But anyway, I will see you in Monday's video. Until then, take care. Take care of you. Take care of everyone that you want to take care of this weekend. I'll see you then. Bye.